Hey friends, Sean from Draft Therapy here, and on today's review for you, Hazebots, roll out. So today's going to be a little bit different than normal. As you can see, I have 6 different beers here in front of me, and this is collectively known as the Hazebot series. Now, the Hazebot series is a series of New England-style IPAs that were released by Starving Artist Brewing Company or Starving Artist Brewing in Ludington, Michigan, but they're all collaborations. So each one of these different cans is a collaboration between Starving Artist in Ludington and another brewery in the state. So I'm going to run down the line. I'm going to talk about each one individually. Then I'm going to pour each one individually, talk about each one individually. And I think by the end, I'm going to pick a clear cut. Well, maybe not a clear cut, but one that I think is the best of the group. I don't think I'm going to rank them, but I'll tell you what I think of each one. And I'll go down the line and let you know what each one of these are, who the collaboration is with, and then we'll start getting into everything. So this one is Optimus. It is a collaboration with Brain Brewing, and it says an IPA with white grape juice. That one sounds really interesting to me. And then we have Ogleb the Messenger, a sassy India Saison Ale. This is Starving Artist and Stormcloud Brewing, which I've reviewed before. I've reviewed a beer from each one of these places, I think. Oh, actually, 2 of them I haven't. So next up is DaNK, which is DANK. Digital Automated New England Cool Aid, a collaboration between Starving Artist and Grand Armory. And then we have Ultra Juiciness, which is an orange pineapple milkshake IPA, collaboration with 424 and Starving Artist. And 424 is in Holland, Michigan. And then we have Kegger Tron, which is a Mecha Nordic Oat India Pale Ale, a collaboration with Pigeon Hill in Muskegon. And then we have, last but not least, Alphatron, which is a humulupuloid IPA. Easy for me to say. It's a collaboration with Ludington Bay Brewing Company, again, in Ludington. So each one of these, as you can see, takes on this Transformers-inspired theme. All the artwork, I believe, was done by Andy at Starving Artist. So all of these are different kind of takes on like a Transformer. If you look at them, they really, really hit that nostalgic kind of Transformer. Those tugs at those nostalgic heartstrings. And so each one is different. Each one has kind of has a distinct look to it. And I've heard that if you take these apart, like the labels off of these, they will combine into one big label. And as you look at some of these, well, all of them actually, this one is Optimus wine. That's the one with grape juice. On the back here, it looks like it is a body part here. And this panel, might match up. This one is Ogleb the Messenger. It has half a face on it. Then we look over here at Ultra Juicimus, and it has the other half of the face. So I think what it is like a piece of the whole Transformer together. That's more of a Voltron thing, but we'll give it credit for the towards the whole Transformer vibe. And then on the back, each one has the panels that are kind of missing. The other panels. And this was sold, I believe it was sold as a set from Starving Artist in Ludington. So let's go ahead and get down to business here. I will grab my glasses for each one. And whenever I do these big kind of, 3, 4, 5, 6 different beers at a time, it gets kind of funky the way that these are all kind of set up together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set all the glasses to the side. I'm not going to line them up. And then I'm going to go through each one, and I'm going to set it up front, kind of give you a bird's eye view from the overhead this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with Optimus wine. So we will set these over to the side here, and we're going to go ahead and crack this. I have these smaller glasses because, I'm not going to drink all 6 right now. Woo, a little bit of a gusher there. And let's get a nose out of the can. It does have a grapey white grape kind of smell to it, aroma, a little bit of a dankness though too. And I'll let you know when these were. I think these were canned just within the late June, I want to say, is when they were initially released. And as you can see there, that is coming out pretty gold out of the can itself. Collects like a brownish orangish color. A lot of head, about 2 fingers worth, maybe about 1.5 fingers. And really compact head. We'll hold this up to the light. There's going to be a whole lot of different inset shots in this video. So this one is very hazy through and through. A nice kind of Actually, not too much carbonation. I thought I'd see a little bit more. Let me check on the bottom of this can. There's no date. I don't believe there are dates on these. And then when I'm done, after I drink, I'll kind of move it over to the side. Let's put a better nose here, though. It's the same kind of scent I was getting before. A little bit of like a white grapey kind of scent. A little bit of a dankness, the sweetness in there. But again, this is the white grape juice New England style IPA. So it makes sense that you're getting kind of that grapey smell out of it. Really juicy, very citrusy, juicy up front. Has a little bit of a dry kind of finish, a little bit of a earthy bitterness in there, and it's nice and sweet up front. So you get that kind of orangey, citrusy juiciness. But there is a bit of like a white grape quality, and the dryness at the end is really kind of reminiscent of like maybe a brute or a winey kind of taste. So yeah, it lives up to its name, and that is a good one. So next, I'm going to go with DaNK, digitally automated New England Cool Aid. I keep seeing that, and I think it says Cool Ale, but Cool Aid, and this is with Grand Armory, and this one has the green robot on it. Crack this one as well. I'm going to go ahead and pour this. Oh, look at the color change on that one. That's a little bit more of a reddish, like almost a borderline ruby red kind of color. The head isn't as thick, and it's not sticking around quite as long as the Optimus wine. But let's move this right here. Let's put a nose on it. I didn't get a nose out of the can. I can't believe that. All right. This one almost has a little bit more of a earthy aroma. A little tinge of sweetness. I can't pick up. There's a fruit vibe in there too. But I'm not really picking up on what that is. So let's go ahead and hold it up to the light. Again, very thick. This is a little bit more on the brown side of a New England style IPA. A little less hazy than the first one. Actually, I can almost see detail on my fingers through it. It's got a much brighter taste than this one, than Optimus Wine had. So DaNK has a little bit more of a upfront sweet flavor to it. A little bit more of a bursting citrus juiciness to it. The finish is a little bit citrusy on the bitterness on the hoppy side. Not dry like the first one was. It's a little bit more, has a little bit more of a aftertaste to it. A little bit more of a kind of a, almost a tart aftertaste to it. But I think that's where we're getting that citrus bitterness. And I'm going to put the glasses in front of the cans, just so you have an idea of where I've been so far. So next up, we're going to move into Ultra Juiciness, which is an orange pineapple milkshake IPA, a collaboration with 424 Brewing in Holland and Starving Artist. This one sounded to me probably the most interesting behind the one I'm going to do next. So I'm really kind of interested. I've never had anything from 424. I've heard good things, but I just haven't had the chance to try them yet. I may have tried them at a beer fest, but I couldn't tell you for sure. So the nose on this one's a little bit more in your face. A little bit more of a, like I said, it definitely has that pineapple kind of smell to it. A little bit of more of a citrus kind of smell. Let's go ahead and pour this. It's coming out. Look at the difference in all the colors on these. This is really bright yellow. And as you can see from it just kind of sitting there, it's got a lot more of a bright complexion to it. And the head is a lot larger. Like Optimus Wine still has a little bit of the head hanging on. DaNK doesn't have the head dissipated fairly quickly. This one, the bubbles are really big, really large bubbles, and it's kind of hanging on, but it's also kind of dissipating. Let's go hold this up to the light here, and that is really thick, really juicy looking. I can actually see a lot of carbonation streaming up from it, and yeah, there's like a shadow through it, but no real definition there. It comes through more. You get a lot more of the pineapple here out of the can and into the glass itself. Set this over a little bit. Yeah, it's got a lot more of a sweeter scent to it. A little bit more of the pineapple's coming through. So cheers. Wow. That one that pineapple is like, boom, it like bursts right in your mouth. You get a lot of that pineapple, a lot of citrus. It's very upfront, very in your face. The bitterness isn't there much at all. Actually, I don't even know if I'm picking up any bitterness, but there is a little bit more of maybe like a little bit of a dry finish on that. This is the early front runner for me. It's got the pineapple is a little bit more of a prickly pineapple, but it's definitely got that large in your face pineapple vibe. Citrus in there as well. Again, really smooth, not much bitterness at all to speak of. And then the one that I was also really curious about was this Stormcloud one. I was going to see which other one, if there was one other one that I was like really super curious about. This one is a Saison, and Stormcloud does all Belgian style inspired beers between IPAs and the other styles they do. They all have that kind of farmhousey funk to them. And this one has the yellow robot throwing the bottle, which, okay, he's the messenger, I guess. So he's delivering the message. This one had the biggest audible crack to it out of the can. Let's go ahead and get a nose here. And I'm getting a little bit of a spicier kind of note on this. I keep feeling like I have to keep moving these over to make more room for all the different stuff here. Let me set this down. I'm going to move these over one more time. Get them moved over there. Hopefully we're going to keep them all in frame. And let's go ahead and pour this one. Again, a different color every time. And that's really kind of cool that each one of these is different enough. This one is probably the most similar to the 424 one, the Alpha Juiciness, at least like color-wise. So it's a little bit more of a golden yellow. Holding it up, it's hazy. There is actually pretty hazy, but I can almost see definition. And the head, again, is much like the Juiciness was. Getting a little bit more of that kind of, like I said, that spicy kind of quality to it. So let's go ahead and jump in. The mouthfeel on this one feels like it's the thickest. Like, they've all been pretty light. This one is still light, but it feels a little bit more on the thicker end, a little bit more on the heavier side. And the flavor is totally different from the other three that I've had so far. Again, they definitely put that Belgian style spin on this. That Stormcloud's really known for doing that Belgian style, Belgian inspired IPAs and Belgian inspired other styles, which I really like because I like Belgian styles and I like to see those flavors in other beers. This one has the traditional kind of spiciness to it. It has like a clovey kind of taste to it. Maybe some of those estery kind of banana kind of flavors in there as well. But it's also got this sweet citrus quality to it as well, like almost like a bitter tangerine kind of flavor. It's very intriguing. I don't know if I'd qualify it as one of my favorite out of the group, but it's definitely nice because they're all kind of in that New England style vein. And this one almost sits the most outside of that realm. And the next two I'm going to put on this side because I think I'm running out of room in the frame here that you're able to see. So the next one is Kegger Tron. It is the Mecha Nordic Oat India Pale Ale, and almost looks like it says Mecha Nordic Dat India Pale Ale, but it says oat. And this is the one with Pigeon Hill. This one has the orange and yellow robot holding the keg, almost like the Matrix, like the Transformer Matrix that Rodimus Prime holds up. Once I think he pulls it out of somebody in the Transformers movie, the animated one, the good ones, not the Michael Bay abominations. So let's go ahead and pour this. I'm just really intrigued and really happy to see that each one definitely has a different look. Like each one that we've gone down the line, the last three, I think have probably, actually this one looks a lot like DaNK does. And then Optimus Wine is a little bit different, but I like that they've all been really relatively different looking in the appearance. And I get this one's a little bit more of that Dirty Glass Club. Let me get the nose here. This one's almost more of a perfumey kind of smell. A little bit, maybe a little bit more floral. And holding it up to the light, again, very thick. I'm sorry, not thick, but very hazy. Darker, almost like what you think of like a rice IPA kind of color, but not quite as dark. It's still in that yellow orangey kind of category. It doesn't get dark enough to be in the browns. All right, it has a little bit of like a maybe almost a bubblegum kind of smell in there. So let's go ahead and take a drink. Cheers. Yeah, definitely some floral qualities coming through there. A little bit more on the heavier end of the mouthfeel department. I think we've gotten a little bit on the heavier side now. I think that the Stormcloud one and this are really neck and neck as far as mouthfeel goes. But very, very floral kind of quality, like a citrusy flavor, but floral as well. So it feels like it's a little bit complex. I feel like the Ogleb, the Messenger, the one from Stormcloud, was probably the most complex so far, and then this one would be next. It's got, like I said, a lot of those kind of floral qualities, citrus, floral, maybe a bit of a piney hoppiness in there. And again, I smelled kind of some bubblegum in the actual aroma, and I'm kind of getting that in the flavor department as well. It's floral, kind of bubblegummy, and a little bit maybe a piney and maybe earthy bitterness in there kind of mixed together. So we're going to set this on this end. And now, last but not least, we have Alphatron, which is a humulupuloid IPA. Again, say that many times fast. This is the collaboration between Starving Artist and Ludington Bay, which it looks like they're probably neighbors, both in Ludington. So let's go ahead and crack this one open. And this one has the kind of the teal, blue, and purple robot on it. Let's go ahead and pour this. And a little bit on that lighter side, trying to churn up some of that, some of the aroma, some of the flavors there. Let's set this one down. And okay, so the last four have been very similar looking, but again, all different. That's awesome. So let's go ahead and put a nose on it. I'm not really able to differentiate much between this one and any of the others. I'm not really picking up any big aromas out of the glass that I can say, oh, okay, like humulupuloid, I would think it's going to be very resinous. That's kind of the implication that I would get reading a name like that. Kind of, maybe more piney, but let's go ahead and hold it up. Very yellow, hazy. Can see a shadow. Holding it, my finger on the opposite side of where I am, it's very very shadowy, and I'm holding it right up against glass and not seeing much. And again, not much head to speak of. It kind of dissipated really quickly. So let's go ahead and give it a drink. So remember when I said I thought it'd be more resinous? This is really, it's again heavier on the thicker on the mouthfeel, maybe a little bit more on the thicker end. I'm getting a little bit more citrus. It's really big sweetness. I'm sorry, really big citrus flavor in there. There is a bit more of kind of like the traditional IPA kind of quality in this one. Getting a little bit more citrus bitterness, citrus hoppiness, maybe getting a little bit of that piney hoppiness in there as well. But the flavor isn't huge. It's really more of a kind of, it's a thicker beer, a little bit heavier. I don't know if we have the ABVs on here, and that's one thing I realized I didn't read off. So I don't know what the differences in the ABVs are with these. And that's one of the things that it's nice to see on labels, but it seems like we don't always get this. So I'm not sure what the ABV is on this. I didn't do a whole lot of research. I kind of wanted to go into these as blind as possible and not reading a lot of other people's their kind of ideas on, what they thought of each one of these. So I didn't read up on what the what the ABVs are for all these. But just kind of the mouthfeel makes it feel like this one's a little bit of a heavier beer and a little bit heavier on the New England style IPA side. So yeah, I'm getting like a lot of citrus, a lot of piney bitterness. Maybe not so much piney bitterness, but there's a hint of it in there. So maybe it does live up to its name. So let's go down the line here. These last, I'd say the last three are probably the ones that I know that these are probably on the lower. If I was ranking these, if I was going through and saying, okay, you know, doing kind of like a bracket style, like I usually do when I have a bunch of beer, these would probably be on the lower end for me. The one from Stormcloud, I like that this is different. It's got it's a nice enough spin on it. Has the Belgian style inspired kind of flavors. So I would probably put this in the top, you know, of the bottom. It would be the top of the bottom. I would say probably Alphatron would be my lowest and Kegger Tron would be next. But the ones that I know that I really want to go in and dive in and have another taste of are Ultra, Juiciness, DaNK, and Optimus wine. So let's go through these three here. I'll do Optimus wine first. A lot of that kind of citrus peeliness is coming through now. This is kind of sat out. It's been out of the can. It's been in the air. It's kind of warmed up a little bit. I'm getting a lot more of kind of a not a zestiness, but the actual like a floral kind of qualities coming through on this one that I wasn't getting initially. DaNK is next. That's the Grand Armory collaboration. I really like that. I think I felt it didn't have a lot of really bursting juiciness up front. But again, now that it's warmed up, now it's been exposed in the air a little bit more, I feel like the flavor has come like really out. It's really come out of the beer that it's been warmed up. And then Ultra Juiciness was one that I feel like was probably one of my favorites just at first taste here. And yeah, so of these three, I would still say that if I had to pick just one, out of all six of these, if I had to pick three, I think the three I would go with in this order. Number 3 would be Optimus wine. Number 2 would be DaNK or DaNK, and number 1 would be Ultra Juicimus. Again, that would be the Right Brain collaboration, the Grand Armory collaboration, and the Brewery 424 collaboration with Starving Artist in Ludington, Michigan. All right, friends, that has been the Hazebot collaboration series with Starving Artist and other West Michigan breweries. Have you had these, or do you have a favorite New England style IPA from any one of these breweries, or do you have a favorite beer from any one of these breweries? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And while you're down there, if you like Michigan beer, you might want to subscribe and click that bell, because I'm here talking about mostly Michigan beer on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it's all free for viewers just like you. You can also leave me questions at the Draft Therapy hotline at 224-DRAFT-20. I want to start incorporating your questions or any kind of comments or things that you bring into that hotline. You can call, you can leave a voicemail, you can leave a text message to those, and I'll read those, and I'll start incorporating your questions into some upcoming videos. Also, there's a link in my description below this video to a Discord server where you can come on and chat with other, you know, beer reviewers, beer YouTubers, beer tubers, whatever you want to call them, and also people that watch these videos. We have a nice community kind of going. We have a nice chat. We talk about different kinds of beer every day. So you can join that. You can find the link below this video. And until next time, thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by. Remember, drink craft beer, support your local breweries, and most importantly, don't forget to treat yourself to a little draft therapy. Thanks for watching. Cheers.